Hey guys, Brian Delivers You the Goods here, returning to you for a album review. I'll try to make it as quick as I can, but I don't know. It's for the new Childish Gambino record, Bando Stone, and the New World album that I got a chance to check out for myself tonight to see what I was going to think of this record overall. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this 17-track record, which is an hour runtime, and let you know my thoughts on this new Childish Gambino record, Bando Stone and the New World. So let's dive into this album review. Now, this is officially his new record as of this year, because Atavista was a record that he remastered from the 2020 sessions thing that he did. But even the remastered one sounded really good, for sure. But overall, I think we're going to get right down to what I listened to. So Hearts Were Meant to Fly was actually a good song. There were some cringy moments with the track, with the production. Well, I'm going to say this. The production was outstanding for this track. I think he did very well. Him and his team did very well with the production for this record. That is the positives. There are some negatives with this record that I found to be kind of But Hearts Were Meant to Fly is getting a 4.5 out of 5 as the opening track. It doesn't sound so bad, so it's a good song. Lithonia is a good song too in its own way. I wouldn't say one of my favorites, but it is a highlight for the record, so I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. The way Childish Gambino is singing the track, there are some moments where I like it and moments where I don't. Like, there are some moments where he's saying nobody gives a fuck thing, and the lyric choices in it are kind of hit or miss. But overall, it's a good song in its own way. 4.5 out of 5. Survive, featuring Chloe, actually is a pretty good song. It's probably one of my favorites from the record. It's a little on the low-key kind of sound with how Childish Gambino's singing this track, but overall, I think execution-wise, it did pretty good for what it was going for. There's some rapping in this track, and Chloe's background vocals sound pretty good in this track, so this is a 4.75 out of 5. Steps Beach actually is a pretty good song in its own way. I'm going to give this one praise because I actually enjoyed it, so 5 out of 5. I like Childish Gambino's vocals in this track, and just the execution is pretty strong for this one. So, very good track. One of the highlights for this record. A strong highlight for sure. Then we get to Talk My Shit, which I think Childish Gambino's section was good, but the song kind of took a turn for the worst as the track progressed. When Amare came in the song, I didn't like her rapping. I will tell you that. I was highly cringing through her rapping, and the overall execution of this, I mean, the production is good, but this is a disappointing track. So a 2.75 out of 5. This one was very weak of a song. Flo Milli actually didn't sound bad for their closing the track, but Amare ruined the track, and not in a good way. Got to Be is another one that I was not crazy about. This is a 2.75 out of 5. I think overall it could have been a lot better, but production-wise, this one didn't have it. This one, I can say, production-wise and mixing, was not very good, and it got a little repetitious with how Childish Gambino was singing certain lyrics. So 2.75 out of 5. Real Love is actually a mediocre track. I didn't hate this song for how it overall sounded, but execution-wise, it's mediocre. It just, when he's singing the track, there's some good moments, but it's just musicality of the song, sonically, sounding wise, it's not so great, but it's tolerable of a listen. So 3.75 out of 5. In the Night actually is a above decent track. I'd give it a 4.25 out of 5. I think this track has its good points, but when Amare comes in the track, she still ruins the track a bit, not in a good way. I think Georgia Smith actually sounded really good vocally in this track, but I don't know why he added Amare in 2 songs for this record. That sound like almost complete ass. At least In the Night didn't sound like complete ass, but basically Talk My Shit did, and it wasn't that great. So 4.25 out of 5. Yoshinoya, I believe is how you pronounce it. Pretty good song. I like how Childish Gambino's singing the track. And overall, the execution of this song did pretty well with the mixing and how the beat is going and how melody-wise and structure-wise it did alright for what it was sounding like. So this is a 4.75 out of 5. Can You Feel Me featuring Legend is a good song in its own way. I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5. Didn't hate this track for how it sounded, so yeah, good song. Legend's vocals in it were pretty good, and Childish Gambino's vocals sounded pretty strong. There were some moments where I thought the track could have been perfected a little better, but it still sounded fine. No Excuses was a long song, almost 7.5 minutes, but it's probably the longest track on this record you'll find. But a pretty good one, for sure. So 4.75 out of 5, and excuse me a second, I gotta pause the video. Sorry about that, guys. Had to pause the video because my sister's cat wanted out of my room. So, No Excuses is a 4.75 out of 5. Still a good, strong track for this record. Nice melody, nice sonic sounding, musicality-wise, sounded really good. Sonically, it did pretty well. Cruisin' featuring Yeet sounded pretty good for how it sounded, and overall Childish Gambino's rapping in it and his singing was pretty strong. I think he was mostly singing in this track and Yeet was doing some rapping. Childish Gambino had his sections where he was rapping, but it's still perfected in a strong way. So 4.75 out of 5. We Are God is a pretty good song. Really like the melody and the track itself as a whole, and musicality-wise, it's a strong song, so 4.75 out of 5. Running Around featuring Fouché. Fouché, I don't know, she didn't sound great, but overall, it was decent of a song. So I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Dadvocate, good song in its own way. It closes out the record fine, or it's not the closing track. These are the last few closing tracks. It's 17 songs on the record, so the last song I will get to in just a second. But Dadvocate was a good song in its own way. 4.5 out of 5. Happy Survival featuring Kure Nogbin, I believe is how you pronounce Kuren Bing. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's something with a K. KH, basically. So 4.5 out of 5. It's an interlude track to the last song. It's just mostly instrumental and just he says happy survival through most of the track, but it's still good of a song mixing wise. A Place Where Love Goes is actually the closing track for the record, the official closing track for the record. I'm sorry if I said official closing track for track 15. I mistakenly thought it was the closing track, so my apologies. I did originally say there were 17 songs on this record, so I recorrected myself there. But still, A Place Where Love Goes, actually mixing-wise was pretty good. Wasn't the best song to close the record, but it was fine. It started off good, ended off in a good note, but there are some execution flaws with this record. So, that make it stand out and not in the best way possible, but you'll see what I rate it pretty soon. So 4.5 out of 5 and 4.5 out of 5 for Happy Survival as well. So overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Childish Gambino, Bando, Stone, and the New World is a.
What's close to you?
Sorry, my mom was telling me that my sister's cat wanted to see me, so sorry about that. So pretty much, Bando, Stone, and the New World is an okay album. It's not one of my personal favorite records I've listened to this year. It could have been a little better, but it's an okay listen. It's going to be on the Okay to Matt albums of 2024 by this end of the year, basically. But overall, good. It wasn't a good record, but it wasn't the best because the problem with this record was the songs Talk My Shit and Got to Be. Those tracks, mostly Talk My Shit, was the one that made me cringe a lot. And overall, if I were to give it a score, I'm going to give Childish Gambino, Bando, Stone, and the New World a 6.5 out of 10. It's an okay record, not something I'd be coming back to as the rest of the year goes on. But overall, it could have been a little better. But this is the record we got. So, pretty much 6.5 out of 10 for Childish Gambino's new record, Bando Stone, and the New World album. Hopefully you enjoyed this album review tonight, and thanks for watching.